Hello and welcome. It's my pleasure today to introduce a wonderful cellist who also has a very impressive business going on that I think is going to help a lot of people. So here is welcome to Julia Ferrer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and it's unusual what you're doing, and you're helping a lot of people. So I'd like to ask you to share with us how you got started with yourself as a musician. Maybe you can share with us a little bit about your training. We are both natives of Argentina, though we're doing this interview in English. One day we might do one in Spanish to help people coming from other countries as well. But since most of these people will be coming to study in the US, they should be practicing their English. So this is why we're doing it in English. Um, so Julia has had a great idea, some kind of incredible eureka moment, and she came up with this prospect of helping other people achieve their dreams of entering into, doing either undergraduate or graduate school in the US. And then it branched out as well into helping American kids who want to get into a specific school perfect their portfolio so that they are as professional as possible to really highlight what the best is for each person, both in what looks in paper and in the audition tapes that are needed to get into some of these top schools. So just share with us a little bit about how you started and how you came up with this wonderful idea.
Great. So my name is Julia, and I play the cello. I started the instrument due to an after-school program at the school where I attended about fifth grade. Towards the end of middle school, I always took like the orchestra, extra credit subject, and then end of middle school, I started with private cello lessons. During high school, actually, I got into like music conservatory. So Monday through Saturday, I would just go to school. In the evenings, go to the conservatory. From there, I did the Orchestra Academy at Milan Theater. It's a 2-year program, basically just private lessons, chamber music, and orchestra rep. So that was great. Also, we got exposure to what we'd have master classes, with the solo cello of, all these grand orchestras. It was a wonderful experience. And from there, the following year, actually, I did a ton of just like international festivals. I knew I wanted to study abroad. At that time, I was actually between the US and Germany because of the technique. So I actually studied German and went to Germany for about 3 months, did more festivals, master classes, had lessons with a ton of professors. But upon returning to Argentina, I'd noticed to go abroad, I needed a scholarship. And just what I knew from the US and kind of their system, it looked, and speaking the language, of course, being, kind of fluent in English, it seemed more doable that way. Because again, I needed to max my chances to make it happen. And so, yeah, I ended up pursuing my GPD at Peabody with Amit Khaled, which he's incredible. And yeah, from there, I lived in Cincinnati a few months and was part of the cello faculty at the Cincinnati Academy of Music, and then relocated to South Florida and play mostly with the Palm Beach Symphony, subbing occasionally for other orchestras as well, but they're like the main activity. And then, taking part in chamber music concerts or, with Music Ensemble, which is a chamber ensemble group. And so, yeah, but this past year, I've been focusing mostly on Nova, which is this organization, which, it didn't just magically appear last year. It kind of went growing organically and out of necessity. This happened all because in 2006, I was accepted. It was the fall. I was there studying in Baltimore. And of course, my friends and the people who knew me, they kind of started messaging me like, how did you do it? Or they knew I needed, scholarship to go. So like, how did that happen? Can you fill me in a bit? So I just said, oh, look, I did this and that. And they told me, oh, I'd love to go study abroad. I'm like, great. And so they're like, oh, I have a few questions. Can I ask you? I'm like, sure. So it kind of started off just from them seeing, my personal experience and answering them, through text, through speaking with them on the phone or emails mostly. I say, oh, just send me an email with your questions. I'll get back to you. So it was just a very natural process. And again, it was something that I was completely fascinated by because for me, it was like this one-time shot. I had saved up for a ticket to go to the auditions and I had to come back from those auditions with a scholarship. So this had to work. So I really, sat down and dug into kind of the different parts of the admissions process and kind of completely dissected and analyzed everything to make sure, it worked for me personally. So that's kind of how it started all out. And yeah, so when they saw it worked, the first year, fall 2016, it was just friends or people who knew me directly from all these festivals. And then the following year, they did a great job. And so their friends were asking questions. And so they passed on my name. So they'd be reaching out. And again, all of this was just very natural. I love like meeting new people, talking, and especially like for me, it was my absolute dream. Going to study in the US, I studied with Amit Khaled, which at the time I got to know him, or how was I exposed to him? Through YouTube. I'd watch his videos, this incredible cellist. Also, several other teachers from other universities, but like that was the one place that I was just, it would be a dream to be there. Of course, financially, it was impossible, literally impossible. But yeah, so it kind of started out that way. And over the years, it's just from, kind of the results speak for themselves in many cases, and just because of that and how great it was going for everyone, I realized after a few years, I'm like, okay, there's actually like a need for this, or this could actually turn into something great. Of course, between like the time that I realized that and that I tried to put it into practice, a year went by, because one is busy with life and doing a bunch of other things. You have other responsibilities. But that's why last year I sat down, tried to get other people involved as well, to help throughout the process. So yeah, that's a bit, in a nutshell.
That's wonderful. And it's funny how you also had your considerations for Germany. It was very similar in my case as well. I was actually learning German throughout my college in Buenos Aires, and I was given this scholarship to go to Germany for a few months. And then I met some of the composition professors that I wanted to work with, and I came back to Buenos Aires from my final year of college is when another opportunity came up, and I ended up receiving a scholarship to come to the US as well. So very similar kind of trajectories. And it's wonderful how this seemed to happen naturally for you, because you found, the fact that people were coming to you and asking for advice. You realized there was some information and something you had that you could, share with other people to help them. So specifically, how do people get in touch with you? I mean, we're going to be linking your website, but what is the process typically like? When should they be contacting you? Which kind of information will you need to make their portfolio as strong as possible? Just so that people know how to go about getting in touch with you and working with you.
Yeah. So I'll be including a link to the page and my email. Right now, I mean, this is the first year that we're trying to, really get everything official and formal, so that everything will be up by the fall with the official website, the testimonies and everything, because the candidates this year have gotten their results, which is wonderful. But yeah, through the link on the website has my email included, if not through Instagram. Everything will lead you to my email, which is just, the simplest way to do things to make sure nothing is lost. And from there, you can just send an initial email with your name, age, instrument, what degree you're thinking of applying to. We usually ask for a short video because, this is a service that we provide, but at the same time, we also choose who to work with. And this is because, we've had a 100% success rate, over since the beginning in 2016, but we've really gotten down, been a bit more picky. And it's not just based on, they're super talented, and that's why, we're going to work with them. That is not the basis for it. The basis for it is that you have to be hardworking, you have to be determined and perseverant, which means that you will, hold out throughout the whole process. So yeah, if you have those three things, reach out with name, age, instrument, a short video or two with, whatever you consider at the top of your skill or playing, and we'll go from there. Usually we set up like a short call, just like a consultation, kind of talk about a few things. What's important about the process is, I say, okay, it's 100% success rate, you're going to get in, to your top school or with the teacher you want or with the scholarship you need. It would be easy to say, we have a 10 out of 10 because we have students applying to, low schools or the non-desirable, the schools and in getting full scholarships there. No, this is seriously, we, take not control, but we really help our candidates reach their maximum potential. That's the whole idea of this. Like, why would you go with Nova instead of doing it on your own? Like, the whole point of it is, first off, that we help you devise a strategy of which schools to apply it for, which teachers to go for, taking into consideration, of course, what the student might already have or wants, because usually that's the case, and just working with that to make it a bulletproof, strategy or plan. And of course, also take into consideration their needs. Do they need a scholarship? Do they want a scholarship? How much of that goes into play? How much of that will make, the final decision? So that is what.
Sorry. I'm curious in cases like this, because of what you mentioned, if you've had any cases, for example, of somebody who says, oh, I'd like to apply to so-and-so school. You watch the audition tape, you look at their portfolio, and you realize this student could actually reach much higher than that. And I want to help them get into a much better school than what they're suggesting. Have you had any situations like this?
Yeah, and a lot of it, it depends how they come to you. Because, students from abroad, they can come to you saying, oh, I want to study in the US, like that's my dream. And they don't really have a school or a teacher, or maybe they don't need financially, they don't need any assistance. So then we kind of try to match. The reason why we have 15 to 20 phone calls throughout the entire process. And the whole point of that is to really, get to know them. We send them a questionnaire before starting out to get to know their personality. Because again, not every school is for every student, and it's not just at a technical level. This is, are they going to feel comfortable? Are they going to fit in there, once they're attending? Because the whole idea of this is to make it the best experience all around, not just, oh, I got into, A-list school, top name, and use that, or like, oh, this teacher, because it's important. A musician is not only the technical part, but also there's a whole emotional component and aspect. And that's why we also ask, okay, what do you look for in a teacher? What do you look for in a school? There's a lot of conversation that goes on between us and our candidates, because we, as I mentioned, want to really get to know them and optimize, what is best for you. And that's why each strategy, I just can't like print something and apply it to everyone. The strategy is adjusted. It's like completely personalized to each student. So, it's the best for them. So they're completely happy. Maybe it's happened before. The students, they're great, but they don't have like the level for a specific school. It's okay if it's their absolute dream. We'll put that one school, amongst a few others that should be, more realistic. We try to have a really realistic approach and strategy so it works, but also we want people to pursue their dreams, to go after the teacher or the school that they have in mind.
Wonderful. It sounds like it's a very holistic approach where so many things go into consideration, and that sounds quite helpful. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I'll be sure to include also links to some of I've seen some wonderful videos of your playing, and I want to make sure people also get a chance to experience you as a musician. But if there is anything else you'd like to add before we call it a day, feel free now.
Sure. For me, I think the most important thing here is, like, why do I go after this, or why do I pursue this? Because for so many years, it was just, out of goodwill and wanting to help people out, and just it's fascinating, especially I think when one gets so obsessed and really studies something or a system out so well. Just talking about it is so great, and helping others achieve that is wonderful. But why, why does this work? Why does this exist? Well, the whole idea is, there's so many people also that I knew from Argentina, very talented musicians. They perfectly, could have gone to school abroad, studied, but they didn't, because maybe there's a language barrier, maybe there's a financial barrier. I believe there's nothing that should get in the way. If you are determined to, and have a dream and are willing to do whatever it takes to pursue it, not just, a daydream once every now and then, but if you really believe in something, you want to pursue it, that's the whole point, for us to help you get there. There's, as I was mentioning, it's a very long process. There's a lot of moving parts to it. Different schools have different requirements, TOEFL scores, a technical level. There's a lot of things that go into place. So the whole point is the student not to be, stressed out or losing valuable time that they can spend practicing for the pre-screening videos or for the live auditions, kind of, help them through the process, give them tips on how to, everyone writes their own essays, but we will review the essays and, help them out with that. Of course, if the essay is at a, let's say, 60% level, we will not make it 100% because you will then be expected to write 100 at 100% throughout the rest of your degree. That is not the point. But yeah, we try to, help them out, and it's incredible how, well, this is with international students mostly, but you would think every time they would come to you just because they have that dream to study abroad or because they have that dream to study with a person or just for career purposes. But we've also had students who come to us, and it's, the cases that kind of touch us the most, that this opportunity is not only, the next big step in their career, but it also completely changes their quality of life, let's call it, because they come from some countries that it's just very very, how do I say, it's very complicated. And so just at least having the experience of studying in the US, that itself, is a dream for them and is incredible. And that is what we hope to achieve, help people on a, professional level, help people on a personal level. So yeah, just don't let anything get in the way of your dreams. For me personally, Peabody was financially impossible and probably technically also, but in the end, when things have to work out, they work out. But I heard once, there's no such thing as luck. It's when opportunity meets preparation. And that's kind of what we go by. So that, I think, would be, the final message, that if you have a dream and you're willing to pursue it, there should be no reason, no excuse.
Julia, I think you're doing something wonderful that many people will be taking advantage of. So thank you also for your time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. No, thank you for having me.